Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to the video. I hope your day is going great. Mine's been awesome so far, and today we have a really fun video. I've been wanting to do this one for a little bit now, and today I finally found the time. There hasn't been really any news, so I can finally tell you guys the best part about every single Overwatch League team going into Season 2. This is going to be part 1 of the series. Tomorrow I will cover the other 10 teams. We're going to go in alphabetical order, so today we'll be covering the Atlanta Reign, Boston Uprising, Chengdu Hunters, Dallas Fuel, Florida Mayhem, Guangzhou Charge, Hangzhou Spark, Houston Outlaws, London Spitfire, and the Los Angeles Gladiators. So if you want to know the best things about those 10 teams, you're at the right video. If you want to know the 10 best things about the other teams, stay tuned for part 2 tomorrow. Also, I know some of you guys are going to be like, Michael, where's your power rankings? What the heck? Why are you starting a new series? This is only a 2-video series, and it's much easier to make than those power rankings videos. Don't worry, we're going to get to them. We have like 11 more left. But anyways, if you are excited for this video, do me a favor, drop a like on it, and subscribe to my channel for more daily Overwatch League uploads. And now let's jump right into it with the first team being Atlanta Reign. There's a lot of good pieces about this team. I do love the infrastructure that the organization is building into it. They're putting a lot of money into the team. They have a great house. They're getting a chef, a personal trainer, a sports psychologist, pretty much everything a team needs to succeed. And I like that a lot. But I do think the best thing for this team going into the next season is going to be their tank line, Pokpo and Dako. These guys both come from the same Korean Contenders team, Element Mystic, where they had major success in Season 1 and Season 2 of Korean Contenders. Overall, I would say they were one of the best tank lines in all of Contenders, and maybe if they had a few better pieces on their roster, specifically in the flex support role and the DPS role, Element Mystic could have maybe seen more success and possibly actually won a championship. With a roster that's mixed in a ton of different languages, I feel like Pokpo and Dako will really be able to shine since they will always be on the same page due to their previous experience and communication skills. So in my opinion, the best thing about the Atlanta Reign is going to be their take line, Dako and Pokpo. Moving on to the next team, we do have the Boston Uprising, and there are a few things I do like about this team going into Season 2, specifically Note. I feel like Note was the hidden secret within the Boston Uprising that allowed them to have major success in Season 1. It felt like he was everywhere they needed him to be, either protecting Striker when he needed it, or protecting Gamsu when he needed it, or on the backline with Nako and Kelix when they needed it. But what I think also made Note such a good player was his underdog mentality and overall the underdog mentality of the Boston Uprising, and I do believe that is going to be the biggest strength of the Boston Uprising going into Season 2 once again. Going into Season 1, everybody underrated the Boston Uprising. We thought they were the worst team. Almost every single power rankings had Boston Uprising in the bottom 2, and they honestly embraced that mentality and they went out there and they put in work. And I feel like if they do the same thing for Season 2, that underdog mentality experience that they have will really come through and they have a chance at surprising a lot of us. So overall for the Boston Uprising, their best thing about them going into Season 2 is their underdog mentality experience. Moving on to the third team, we have the Chengdu Hunters, and I have been very critical of these guys going into the next season. I've said on multiple videos that they are going to be the absolute worst team for many reasons, but I do think they have one good thing going for them, and that is that they are all from the same region and they all speak the same language. Now I know some of you guys are going to be like, oh come on Michael, you could have came up with something better than that, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I honestly couldn't, and I feel bad. Half their players have not played for a year. Throughout most of their careers, they all competed in underdeveloped regions. I know China has become better as of recently, but for most of their careers, it was underdeveloped, as well as the Pacific division that some of them come from. So even in a video where I have to give the best thing about every single Overwatch League team, I still managed to say something bad about the Chengdu Hunters, and it sucks, it really does, but it's hard, and I don't think anybody can change my mind. And even the good thing about them, the fact that they all speak the same language and all come from the same region, isn't even going to be good enough, because guess what? So did the Shanghai Dragons during Season 1. They all came in with Chinese players, they all came from the same region, spoke the same languages, and guess what? They completely failed. So it could be a good thing. It might help them win a few games. I don't think they'll go 0-28 and pull a Shanghai Dragons. So if I had to say the best thing about the Chengdu Hunters, it is definitely that they all speak the same language and come from the same region. Now moving on to everybody's favorite team, we have the Dallas Fuel, and they definitely have a lot of things going for them in Season 2. An upgraded staff, an upgraded roster, but overall I feel like the best part of their team going into Season 2 is most definitely their support. Unco and Closer. We all know Unco is great, and he was performing really well for the Dallas Fuel, even during their rough parts when they were failing in stages 2 and 3, but he really came out to play in stage 4 and helped the Dallas Fuel have that miracle run. And then their new addition, Closer, I think this is the best player they signed in the offseason, hands down. He comes from a World Championship team in the London Spitfire. He's got that experience. He also adds another Korean aspect to this team, which they kind of needed, and I've just heard so many good things about him overall, such as him being so damn smart and being able to communicate and call in the most stressful environments. I do believe Unco and Closer are going to be all-stars, and they will help the Dallas Fuel win a lot of games going into season 2, so that's why they are the best part of this team in my opinion. Moving on to number 5, we do have the Florida Mayhem, and this is another hard team to find something good about. Their management is just an absolute disaster. It's utter chaos, and it seems like they don't know what direction they want to take with this team. First, they sign a full Korean roster, but then they get rid of their only Korean coaching staff member, leaving a full Korean roster to be coached by a full Western roster, which probably won't end well for them. But overall, I do think they have made an upgrade when it comes to just pure talent since season 1. So if I had to say the best thing that they have going for them is that they have more talent on their roster. Specifically in their support line, they have Hagopen and Chris, major upgrades over Zupe and Zebusai in season 1. As well as for all the other roles, there's still slight upgrades everywhere besides maybe DPS, where you could say I don't know how good BQB is going to be compared to Logic's. But if BQB comes out and he plays decent, then I could say overall they made better upgrades than season 1. So that's got to be the best thing about them. They might not be the biggest upgrades in the world, but I think they did make some slight ones. Overall, though, I still think the coaching staff is going to absolutely screw this team, and they're going to be left in the dust compared to all the other Overwatch League rosters. But we already know that, so let's move on to the Guangzhou Charge, and I love this team. They have made a lot of good decisions during the offseason, and I can come up with a lot of things that I think might be the best part about them. One being Hoppa, who they got from the Philadelphia Fusion in a trade, who has a ton of experience. He just got finished with a huge deep run into the playoffs with Philly, so he is going to add a lot to this team. But overall, I love the experience that they're coming into the Overwatch League together with. It's similar to the experience that Dako and Pokpo will bring to Atlanta Reign, but on a whole nother level, because they're bringing 4 players from Metabellum, where they did have great success in Korean contenders, and not only that, they're also bringing 3 coaches from Metabellum with them. So overall, most of this roster and coaching staff have been working together for over a year now and have had major success. So definitely, hands down, I do think their previous experience for not being an Overwatch League team is going to help them so much in the next season and will be the best part of them. And now moving on to the Hangzhou Spark, who also have really good previous experience going into the Overwatch League. It's just not on the same level as the Guangzhou Charge because they're not bringing over so many coaches and so many players. They do have a lot of pieces coming in from that X6 Gaming roster, and I do think that is a major factor in why this team will succeed. But one thing I just can't get over is how much potential that this Chinese main tank player Go Shui has. He literally might be the piece that takes this team to the next level. Main tank is such an important role in the Overwatch League. If we look at the most efficient main tank players like Gesture and Fisher, they are the key pieces to their team. They're what puts everything together. They are the glue, and if Go Shui can be the glue for the Hangzhou Spark, I can see these guys going very far off the back of that and their X6 Gaming experience. Of course, we can also say the best part about this team is their amazing color scheme, their amazing themes and skins. It's all amazing. I love the pinkness and stuff, but I'm gonna have to go with Go Shui. Let me know what you guys think about that down below. And now moving on to the 8th team, we have the Houston Outlaws, and they've been facing a lot of criticism going into season 2, and it's mainly because they didn't make any upgrades. They only acquired Dante in a trade from the San Francisco Shock during the offseason, which would have been amazing during the mid-season signing window for season 1 when they really needed a Tracer player. Now that Tracer isn't that big of a part of the meta, it doesn't really matter to have him here, because I've said it multiple times before. Jake, Linkser, and Arhan already cover all the heroes that Dante plays, and at a decent level. So that's definitely a mistake that they did make, but they do have a good thing going for them. The fact that they didn't make a bunch of changes is really good, specifically for the roster that they have and Goats. Goats has absolutely dominated the meta for the last 7-8 months, and guess who has a perfect roster for Goats? The Houston Outlaws. Muma always says Reinhardt is his best and favorite hero to play when it comes to main tank. We all know Spree might be the best Zarya in the entire league. Dante, Linkser, Jake, and Arhan can easily all pick up that Brigida, and I'm sure one of them will be great at it. So not only do the Houston Outlaws have a perfect roster for GOATs, during Season 1 they were one of the best tank play teams. Whenever they grouped up and played as a ball, like on Junkertown, on Kings Row, they would always come out on top because they were really good at these death ball comps where you just work together and combo ults. So for those reasons, I think the best thing for the Houston Outlaws going into the next season is definitely GOATs. Moving on to number 9, we do have the London Spitfire, and obviously these guys have a ton of things going for them, but the biggest thing in my opinion is the fact that they won the championship last season, and the way they went about winning it. They had a on and off season. At one point, the London Spitfire during the regular season looked unstoppable, like the best team ever, and then at certain points, they literally looked like one of the worst, like bottom 3, and then they won the championship after that. And I think the experience of going through a regular season that had so many highs and lows will definitely set their mentality in the right direction to where we don't need to win every single game. We just kind of need to make it to the end and win the grand finals. And this reminds me a lot of experienced veteran teams in traditional sports. Like in the NBA, we have the Golden State Warriors, who used to always have a great record, but recently they've been slacking off a lot in the regular season, taking off days with their good players, similar to the San Antonio Spurs. Also looking at the NFL, we have a team like the New England Patriots. They used to always have a good record, but lately they've been slouching a little bit just so they make it by. But they do enough to make it into the playoffs, and that's where they really turn up and make it matter. So I feel like that experience will really help the London Spitfire during the regular season this year, and they won't panic as much as they did during Season 1 when they were on their really bad streaks. And now moving on to the very last team, we have the Los Angeles Gladiators, and these guys look great going into the next season. And I think they're going into this season better than they came out of Season 1. Even if that whole entire situation with Fisher didn't happen, I feel like they upgraded this team. Sure, Fisher was great, but Roar is also amazing. I feel like the LA Gladiators signed the 2 best single free agents of the entire offseason in Decay and Roar. We all knew the Runaway roster was looking to get signed as a full team, so none of them were really individually on the table. As individuals, I think Roar and Decay are the best signings of the entire offseason, and the addition to this experienced roster that made a good run into the playoffs during Season 1 will definitely help them be one of the best teams in Season 2. So if I had to say the best thing about the LA Gladiators, it's definitely the new additions that they made during the offseason. And there it is, guys, the first 10 Overwatch League teams in alphabetical order, what the best thing about them is going into the next season. Let me know down in the comments what you think the good things are about these teams and if I got it correct. If not, feel free to disagree and let me know what you think the best things are. That is going to be it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did make it this far, do me a favor, slap a like on it. Let's see if we can get up to 1,500 today. And that's it. Thank you for watching, guys. Expect part 2 tomorrow or the day after. Peace.